So the Oklahoma Sooners have a pretty big, or I'm not going to say massive, but it's a huge recruiting weekend because this is the first time that you're going to get your five-star offensive tackles and the only time you're going to get them on campus for an official visit. And this is where Oklahoma's got to make an impression. This is the week where we find out who is serious about keeping their foot in the door with Oklahoma and who wants to be a part of this class. So today I want to talk about this visitor list and talk about the realistic expectations that we could land one of these five-star prospects on the offensive line, because we've talked about it for so long, and Oklahoma potentially landing one or two, the even crazy idea of landing three. So I need to hear from y'all, jumping down in the comments below, joining the discussion, letting me know what you guys think about this visitor weekend. And also, how many of these five-star offensive linemen do you think the Oklahoma Sooners realistically land? But since we're talking about the five-star offensive linemen, that's where we're going to start the show today, because I know that's who y'all really want to talk about. And the first one that we're going to start with is Ty Haywood. Now, if you guys have watched the show, you guys know how I feel about Ty Haywood. He has not been to Oklahoma since September of last year. You heard me right. Now, I know he's supposedly supposed to have been to Oklahoma a couple of times after that, but he hasn't made it on campus. Now, when you look at where Ty Haywood's been and you look at the relationships that have been built, I was talking to somebody that we do got a lot of content with on the Alabama side. And I said, hey, like, what are y'all feeling? And the thing is, that staff and DeBoer's staff at Bama, like, they've done a really good job at coming in, really trying to be intentional and developing that relationship. Texas A&M has kind of been a constant there, right? They have them in Texas. They've kind of been the constant, but I don't think Texas is getting an official visit here. So if you're Oklahoma, I feel like that's got to be some good news, because at least that's one of the big competitors that you were worried about that's not going to be in there. Same thing for Missouri. So Ty Haywood, he took an official visit to TCU, UCLA, Alabama, A&M. He has ours on docket for this week, and the next week he'll be going to Florida State. Now, paired up with Michael Fusi, this is where I think you find out which one of these two really wants to be at Oklahoma. Michael Fusi, though, you're going to have a little bit more competition that you're worried about, like Texas and Texas A&M and Missouri. They are all involved here. Missouri got an official visit. Here's my deal about Michael Fusi. I've told y'all for a while, I think Oklahoma is in a really good spot, and I'm not ready to jump off that boat until after this weekend. I want to see how his official visit goes. Just Bill Bedenbaugh has done a really good job with relationships. And every time you listen to Michael Fusi in any of these interviews, you hear him always talk about Bill Bedenbaugh. He doesn't ever talk a lot about Kyle Flood. If he talks about the Texas side of things, which he's done multiple times, he talks about Steve Sarkisian. So right there tells me there's got to be a better relationship with the OU offensive line coach than a Texas offensive line coach. And it's great to talk about the head coach, but talking about your position coach and how that person likes their position coach is equally as important, because that's the person they're going to spend every single day with in those facilities. Now, I will say this. Out of all of the players, out of all these offensive linemen that we're going to have to go up with, because NIL is a factor here, we can't be naive and say it's not. Michael Fusi is going to end up demanding the most. And not like he's going to walk into every single school and be like, I want this much. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, because of his sheer physical talents, like Michael Fusi is a starter in college football day one. He's got that athletic ability. He is that well developed already. He is going to be a very sought after offensive tackle. So we've heard the rumors that Oklahoma's wanting to play the game. We're going to find out this week. Like, if Oklahoma makes the strides, they're going to be leading after this week. They might even try to get a commitment. But if they're not willing to pony up, then Michael Fusi might slip away, and Oklahoma might have to shift their attention to Ty Haywood, Andrew Babaloa, and Lamont Rogers. Fusi is my first take, guys. He comes in, he makes an immediate impact. And I don't know if y'all feel the same, but I want y'all to jump in the comments below and let me know. Now, another one of the prospects that's going to be on campus this weekend, and he has set a commitment date for July 20th. So this one intrigues me a little bit, but it's a 6'3", 315-pound defensive lineman, Floyd Boucard. I've told you guys many times, Floyd Boucard, he makes an immediate impact just like Michael Fusi on the defensive line. Like, this is a guy that outside of just a little bit of fine-tuning on the weight side, like, he is ready to go. He could come in, make an immediate impact on that defensive line. Now, USC, they're trending in the RPM on 3. They got the 247 crystal ball predictions after his visit with Lincoln Riley and that defensive staff out there. But here's the deal. Floyd Boucard has not been to Oklahoma yet. Now, I'm not saying that is a bad thing because he really hasn't been anywhere outside of Miami a ton. Miami and Florida. So Oklahoma is going to be pretty equal on the playing field as a USC or an Oregon. You're just really got to overcome the Miami and the Florida's unofficial visits that they've gotten. But here's the deal. Todd Bates has done a very good job in this recruitment. Very good job. So the fact that he's even still showing up to campus, you feel very optimistic about. Let's see how this goes after this weekend. And then you got the 4-star safety, Siatona Stewart, right? I hope I said that right. 6'2", 180 pounds, 3-star prospect. I think this guy we really have to start paying attention to. And the reason why I say that is I've heard some rumblings that Omarion Robinson might be trending towards Arkansas. And if that's really the case, then you kind of feel like this becomes a little bit more important because, well, we really haven't talked about any other safeties outside of Omarion Robinson and Jonah Williams. And we all know at this point, Jonah Williams probably ain't coming to Oklahoma. So, Satona Stewart Jr., he has been to West Virginia twice. I think he's been to Oklahoma once. He's taken an official visit to West Virginia. So when you look at the schools that are recruiting him, 19 total offers. He's got Penn State on there, so you know the dude can play because Penn State just don't recruit any defensive back. I feel like this is an important recruitment to start to get ahead of. In case you lose Marion Robinson, get you a backup plan. So, interesting note there. And then, of course, we got the kid that I'm really excited about, the one that we made an offer video of. 3-star defensive lineman, 6'2", 280 pounds, out of Lakeside High School in Atlanta, Georgia. Maki Williams-Lee has a total of 12 offers, and he's got a couple of decent offers in there. You guys can see some of the base ones in here. NC State. He's got, let's see here, Texas Tech. I think he's going to potentially pick up a couple more, but I believe we'll end up seeing him camp today as well. I think this is one we land this weekend. To be honest, I think this is one we land. So, visitor list, it's not a super big list. You guys can see the rest of it down below. Grayson Littleton is on the list, but I really don't expect him to show up. He just announced he was coming, but he committed to Clemson. So don't take that one outside of just a grain of salt. Probably not coming. But you'll see the full list below. Not a very big weekend. Next weekend is the big one, the Champion Barbecue, where you're going to have upwards to like 20 guys on campus, plus a bunch of unofficial visitors. So jump in the comments below. Give me your thoughts. Hey, and if you guys have made it this far and you have not already, make sure you guys hit that like and you guys hit that subscribe button.